Asher and Penland on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with our next guest who, man, they have some killer music, but I don't know, so do most Canadian artists. I don't know, they're a step above up there. And so let's welcome to the show Vince from Pythonic. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can pronounce your band name better than probably your province.
Yeah.
I was laughing at it because I can pronounce it, but it's like, you know, sometimes band names nowadays, especially because you have to be so creative, it's sometimes I hear press people just pronouncing them wrong, and that's like my worst nightmare is doing that to a band. But then after I said it, I'm like thinking about where you're at. I'm like, oh yeah, that was easier than saying where they're at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I mean, we've even had people mispronounce our name a few times, so it happens.
Oh, I want to hear the other versions that people have said.
Probably the most recent one was definitely Pythonic.
Yeah. Where'd they get that from? There's no H or F there.
That's what I was kind of wondering about, and I was like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, you know what I do is if I'm not 100% sure of how to pronounce it, I Google it, like, listen, do your work, people. I Google other interviews and I hear how the band says it, like in an interview. Like, yeah, because then you know it's right. Or like when I cover festivals, which I do a lot. In fact, I just got back from incarceration at Shawshank Prison. I'm leaving in a couple days to the holy ground of Vakken, and
nice.
And then Bloodstock after that. But at the festivals, I have the band say their name because A, then I won't fuck it up. But B, they usually say it way cooler than I do because a lot of times, you know, they'll like say it with their spin on it, and I think that's cool.
Oh yeah, no, kind of. Well, and I mean, like then they kind of like get themselves pumped up and ready, and gets everybody else ready for it, and
totally.
Great introduction.
I love it. Well, I'm glad I'm getting the kudos for it because I always wonder, do bands like when I do it that way? Because there have been very few times that they were kind of confused. But usually it's cool, and then they say it really cool. But man, you guys are badass, and I just want to know with the Canada thing, okay? So is it because it's so freaking cold there that you make great music?
Well, I mean, yeah, like 6 months out of the year, we're pretty much stuck inside because it's so cold. So
exactly,
a lot of time to sit down and really, and that you can kind of get that hatred to kind of warm you up during those winter months, and
right.
But yeah, like it does give like a lot of the Canadian bands a lot of downtime. But the unfortunate part is like, you have that downtime to work on music, but you can't, like, touring is brutal trying to go anywhere in the winter time. Cause it's like, if something does happen, well, you could be stuck in -30, -40 temperatures. And like, that's not really a great risk to take.
No, not at all. And I've heard of some bands playing in weather like that. I'm like, how the hell do they do that? Like, I can barely, use my phone, much less play a guitar or something like that.
I think we had one show that ended up being an outside show beginning of October a couple of years ago, and I think it was like -5 or -10, and like that was even hard. Like, but we were also, the show started at 2 or 3 because it was like a little bit, there was like 6 or 7 bands on the bill, and we didn't play till 7, and it just, by the time like we were playing, like we just kept running to like the bathrooms because they had heat to like warm up our hands and like try not to like be seizing while we're on stage because it's just, it was so cold.
Yeah, and like I was just thinking while you were talking, I'm like, if I were in a band and I were playing in that condition, I would jump into the mosh pit of the band before me to warm up.
Yeah. Well, then, like, given that's if the band before you has a mosh pit, though, right? Because this
Yeah.
show, it was kind of like hip hop and metal at the same time. So the group right before us was like more of a hip hop. Nobody was really moshing, so it's like couldn't even really do that as much.
You know what's funny about that is I've been at festivals where Wiz Khalifa had a mosh pit, and every hip hop people, I guess if they play at a metal festival, people listen. I was just at Welcome to Rockville recently, and we had like 3 out of 4 days we had evacuations because it's Florida this time of year. Okay.
Yeah.
And the weather is brutal. And, you know, I have outages at my studio every day during summer, no matter what. So, you know, basically, when they did a code red, Waka Flocka Flame was actually on stage. And he basically had the attitude, I'm not fucking leaving. And he got down and he started a mosh pit in a code red when we were supposed to be evacuating. It was rather cool.
Damn. I mean, that's pretty hardcore, but like, you know, and that's what something people will remember, right? Like he knew what he was doing.
No, it's all over. The video of it is all over. Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of like, you know, I got so many interviews interrupted due to code reds. The best one was also at Rockville was Psycho Stick, and I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're funny as shit. If you're gonna get a code red to interrupt an interview, that's the band to do it because they just like they poured it on thick. They were like freaking out, screaming, like, oh my god, it was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. And so like what I love about that is all these stories we talk about or think about, they just make some great memories. They may suck at the time, but they make great memories later.
Yeah.
So I know, but the listeners don't know what started this all for you, because you started this whole thing and you've evolved it to what is probably your best lineup ever. And
yeah,
what is it that was the starting impetus? Like, what made you do this?
well, like pretty much my whole life, I always kind of like liked music and been kind of musical, and I always wanted to play in a band. And I come from a very small town. Like I think population's like 300 to 500 people, like very, very small. So it's like you don't have a lot of options when you're out there to connect with like other musicians and start anything. So it wasn't until I graduated and started moving out to like cities and stuff, and I was kind of like bumbling around in post-secondary school for a while, but nothing really felt right. And then I started making a band the last year that I was doing post-secondary, and I was like, you know what? Like this feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just, through so many changeovers of members and so much just stuff, I just kept it going. It definitely helps that I had Ryan with me, the other guitar player. He's been with it pretty much since the beginning. And me and him just, every time like we lose drummer, lose bass player, you know, we just keep writing songs, and because we just love doing it. It just,
Yeah.
and finding somebody else to just like have that same passion keeps it, you kind of keep each other in check to like keep working at it. And then over the years, as it's gone, like Ryan's done other bands. He's he's played with like Deathress. Like they've done some pretty big shows and tours and stuff. And a lot of those guys, they're actually in the band now, Dying Remains. And I know they've been touring down in the States a fair bit. And like, you know, he ended up quitting a lot of those bands, and he's like, I don't know what it is, but something just feels different about this band, and like the way everything goes, it doesn't have the same feel. And I took that and I'm like, hey, well then we gotta double down, and I quit all my other side projects, and I'm like, we just gotta keep this going.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, the bottom line is you said something that to me is very important. Like, you know, you got to be, this is what you want to do. This is what you enjoy. It's not a hobby. You love doing, you have to really have the love and passion for it, because it's a tough business to make your career if you're not. Okay. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's great if you are, but if you're not, like, it's not great for you. It's not great for us, the audience, either. And so I think that's why bands have to evolve like yours did, because it takes some time to find those people that actually want to do it to the very end.
Oh yeah, no, and like the current guys that we have right now, like they're all very, very dedicated members. Morgan, our vocalist now, we actually had him on bass for I think almost a whole year. And then we were just getting sick and tired of the vocalist we had, like skipping out on practices and all the, typical like band member kind of like wants to be in the band but doesn't want to do any of the work type deal.
Yeah.
And I heard Morgan scream one day and I was like, holy hell, man, like you're really good. And I was like, we gotta move you to the front. And he was very reluctant to do it at the start, and he like didn't want to. And I was like, well, maybe I'll give it to this guy. And then he's like, well, like it'd probably be easier to find like another bass player than it would be to find a vocalist if this guy's going to be leaving and stuff, if he's just going to be a short time. And yeah, he really jumped in and took it by the reins, and he's just been killing it. Our live shows, he's been getting very comfortable at the front, because he was kind of, a little standoffish for a bit, as you would be, like if you're not used to fronting a band. But like,
yeah,
he blows it away every night now, and I'm
nice.
So awesome.
And so it's funny because I was going to talk about somebody else who is a guitarist about in reference to you. And now it's in reference to you and your singer, because there was this one artist who is still around after many, many years. And he's a front man, one of the most renowned frontmen in metal. And he was not a good front man in the beginning. He didn't like it. He was shy. He really didn't come out front till much later. Now, the other side of it is, now I'm going to have fun with this, because then I'm going to make you guess who it is. I wasn't going to do that before. But as a rhythm guitarist, okay, this person's like one of the best rhythm guitarists ever. And when I read the description about, okay, it says that you bring a machine-like precision combining thick low-end riffing with razor-sharp tremolo picking. And all I thought of when I read that was this rhythm guitarist, who is probably like known as the best down picker ever in metal. So I gave you a lot of hints now. I wasn't even going to do it this way, but I gave you a lot of hints. So you tell me who I'm talking about.
Is it James Hetfield?
That's the one. I'm glad you got it right.
As soon as you said best down picking, I'm like, yeah, it's got to be James, because he just, his down picking is insane. It's actually like, yeah.
Right. And I knew that would be the real tip off right there. Okay, so do you also know why his down picking is so great? What part of it, like not the whole story, but there's something he does that I don't know any other guitarist that does it.
I actually am not entirely sure.
It's the way he holds the pick. He holds it with 3 fingers, not 2. So
interesting.
He's got the index finger, the middle finger, and the thumb. So he like never loses control of that pick because he's holding it so strong with those 3 fingers.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, especially if you're down picking like he does and as fast as he does. It's like I can imagine, doing it the normal way. I can imagine the pick just flying out of your finger. So
Yeah.
I think he figured that out, and so that's why he does the three fingers. And I try it now. I'm like, that is kind of cool because it just gives you more force you can have with
Yeah.
that pick.
Yeah. No, I definitely, even just my personal playing, like I find I pick with a lot of force. But I'm also just a big dude. I got big hands, so I have it all. I have all the weight behind it to push that in. Um, and then like I don't think a lot of people realize how much your hands actually like help with tone and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because like the way I end up holding the pick, because I always wonder, because like I can get some pretty like deep chugging like chugs going on. And I was kind of like looking at other people. I'm like, well, what am I doing differently that I'm getting like this like really heavy bassy sound from it? And then I noticed that when I hold my pick, it almost makes like a cup in my picking hand. So I'm
Ah,
literally feeding back the string sound from in my palm into the pickup. So then I get
wow.
that really nice like jug 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 sound from it. And like a lot of times the only time I see other people getting that is when they also are bigger guys and they're probably getting that same kind of, reverberation off of it. But
You know what else I'm jealous of, being that you're a bigger guy playing guitar, is how much easier it must be to play chords and stretch your fingers out.
like, yes and no. Because like like I actually struggled with a lot of chords when I first started playing, mostly because like my fingers were so fat that when I would hold the chord, the bottom of my finger would touch the string underneath, so then it would mute
Ah,
those strings. But I
yeah.
mean, that works really well when you're doing like power chords and stuff. But like when you're trying to do like a little bit fancier chords, it's a little cumbersome.
I would imagine it's pretty cumbersome too if you do leads, because, like, I would think with bigger fingers that the leads would be harder because your fingers would like run into each other.
Like a bit here and there, but like it's really not that bad. But I mean, obviously, like I've just practiced and like worked with what I have for so long already that I kind of, enough practice, you'll be able to do anything.
So what you're saying is you're kind of like Tony Iommi, who could have ended up not playing guitar ever again and ends up one of the most famous guitar players ever that created metal, you know?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but like,
uh,
yeah, like I definitely could. I definitely had a turning point actually where I was kind of like slowing down near the end of high school, playing guitar a bunch, and I was gonna try like be a football player because I had a bunch of people who were really trying to like push me into that. But then I had my English teacher, and he told me, he's like, playing football and that it's really fun, and you can do it till you're probably about 35, at the latest. But like, playing guitar, you could probably keep doing that until you're in your 90s. And I'm like, man, you really got a point there. And then I kind of doubled back and went back playing a lot more guitar again. And yeah, if he honestly, I probably would have destroyed my hands playing football if I didn't
yeah.
listen to him there.
Yeah, look at that. And it's funny because I was kind of the opposite because I'm a real little dude, especially in high school. Like I was scrawny, short, and I did play a lot of sports. And I was into music, but ninth grade I joined freshman football. And that was really the turning point where I turned away from sports and more towards music for the opposite reason. Like I'm seeing it, like I'm being a running back running for my life from these people probably your size that would like pounce me. And
Yeah.
and opposed to, I think it's to advantage. It's like people don't realize it's so funny how many musicians that look so big on stage get off stage and they're so short. especially frontmen. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of wild, like and I look at people like I'm 5'7", so I'm short for a dude, but there's people that are really famous that are shorter than me, fronting bands, but you look at them on stage and they're like bigger than life.
Well, I mean, like Dio's a prime example. He was not a
Yeah.
very big dude, and
Exactly.
like the voice coming out of him and his presence alone, you would think he's like 6 feet 6'2", like he's massive because he just has such a powerful voice behind him. Like it's
No doubt.
I always find it funny though is when you see a band and then you see them all stand up at the end because like the drummer's sitting behind the kit and you see the drummer stand up and you're like, whoa, that he actually is barely taller than his kit. Like
I imagine it would probably be harder if you're really. I do know tall drummers. And I'm thinking because I started off on drums when I was a kid. I moved to guitar, then I moved to singing thrash metal. I sucked at all three, so now I do radio. And but I'm thinking somebody really tall playing drums. It's got to be a little more difficult, especially metal where you're double bassing it. Like it's got to be hard on your knees and stuff like
yeah.
that. I'm thinking, just imagining that, because I'm like imagining like them driving a little Fiat or something is the same as them playing a drum set.
Yeah. I guess like in a lot of times when a lot of the people are taller, like you're a little bit more awkward,
Yeah.
to your size for a lot longer too. So like the coordination would definitely take a lot more time to build up.
Well, that's because they have a lot further to fall to the ground. Like us short people, it's not a big deal to fall on the ground because it's not that far. So tell me also about Set You Free, because I think the whole world needs to be set free at this point in this crazy shit we're living.
Well, that song, that one had the lyrics rewritten. Morgan did a lot of the rewriting on the lyrics. That one in particular, he wanted to drive something a little more home in the religious vein.
Yeah.
Because like there is a lot of corruption within a lot of the religions, like the big religions in the world. And they kind of like use that as a guise to do terrible things. And it's something that I think, kind of just needs to be like people need to be aware of it because it's very easy to get caught up in something that promises like community and it sucks you in like a cult and takes advantage of you. And that's definitely what's been going on. And like Morgan, he has like very close ties with that. Like his grandfather is a preacher. So like, he kind of, he's seen both sides. So then I'm not saying like his grandfather's a bad dude, but he's like, even when they're not doing bad things, they hold people to such high standards that like it's just unattainable. It's demoralizing, and it's like it's not easy on people. They want it. They want everybody to just be kind of like perfect, but like it's almost impossible to be perfect. It's like you're gonna mess up sometime.
You're not supposed to be perfect. We're human beings.
Yeah,
we're not supposed to be
exactly.
perfect. And most of those perfect people or acting perfect people are less perfect than we are. That's the problem. Like walk your talk,
Yeah.
and it's interesting. Like you used the word cult because I don't know if you're aware of this. If you research history, Christianity started as a cult.
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean, and the fact is that none of us really know. Like these people think they know, but how come, in my opinion, the people that are the most religious are either the ones that find religion in jail after they've done horrible things, and it doesn't make them a better person, they just have a better act, or it's people that they're holier than thou, but they're the ones that sin the most, if you're going to use that word.
Yeah. No, and I've definitely noticed that myself as well. Even in high school, I remember writing a paper, and I was talking about how, there's so many people that they'll go and they say that they're so good and they go to church every week, but then they go home and they're like beating their wives, or like doing all this like just terrible, demoralizing things to other people. But they go to church on Sunday. Well, they're forgiven of it now, so then they're good. So then they can just go the next week and they're refreshed and start it all over again. And then by Sunday, they're back to being good again. And it's like, well, that's not the point. Like, this isn't a free pass card. And like, you shouldn't be, trying to use it as that.
Right. Just be a good human being. Period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's all that should count. And I think that's what's great about metal, because metal, I mean, you go to a show, everybody, for the most part, not everybody, but mostly, are great human beings. Everybody thinks we're scary, we're devil worshippers, blah, blah, bullshit. But we're the nicest, most family-oriented, loving people there is. And so image means nothing.
Nope. Like, on it, like, and talking on that, the best shows I've been to have been like full metal, like band shows. And then like some of the worst, like kind of like you get those like kind of in between rock band kind of bands, where it's like they get played on the radio a lot, but they're still kind of heavy. Those shows I find they're bad. Like, those are probably the only ones where I've been punched in the back of the head, or like people don't know how, like they see metal pits on TV and stuff like that, and they think it's just like people fighting in the pit, but it's like, no, like we're like kind of bumping into each other and hitting each other, but like when someone falls, you pick them back up. Like, I've watched people almost get trampled, and I'm like, guys, you gotta stop. Like,
No
I don't know.
I'll tell you a great story you'll love. So a couple years ago, when I was doing press coverage for Download, Bring Me the Horizon was headlining, and I was in their pit, and there was this dude. He was a big dude. Like, he had to be somewhere between 6'5" and 6'7", I would say.
Cool.
And he was definitely, and it's always those people that I think can be a problem, because they're not metalheads. And when I say that, not just big people, but big people that really aren't metalheads. They go to a show so that they can show how tough they are in the pit. And this guy started really being an asshole, to be blunt, in the pit. And I'm a little guy. People like that, to me, I like to come around and come up and, get down low and come up with my elbow like Mike Tyson. And then I'll be on the other side of the pit before they even know who hit them, because I'm little and fast. But
yeah,
it was so great. There was this one dude that ended up actually was bigger than him. And he walked right up to him and he's like, why don't you pick on somebody your own size? Like, that's something that's said a lot, but that has a lot more meaning when it's a super huge dude and it's somebody bigger than him. That has a lot of meaning to it. And he physically removed this dude from the pit. And it's funny, it's always those tough dudes like that. He never re-entered the pit. He was scared. You could see it on his face. He was scared. And it's just like bullies. Bullies are only tough until you knock them out. Then they're not tough anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, see, I'm a big dude, so I know my size. I know I could, if I wanted to, I could be an absolute destructive force in the pit. But I try not to. I just kind of bounce into everybody and just like, have a good time, help, the general like big guy stuff is what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody kind of inside and that. I remember being at Archspire a couple years ago, and there was one guy, and he was one of those guys that he goes into the pit and he's just trying to annihilate everybody. And I'm like, I'm watching this and I'm trying not to get into the pit because I had to work the next day, and I'm like, I can't handle it. Aborted got on and they were playing so aggressively. I'm like, okay, this guy's going down. This guy went to go hit this smaller dude. I just came out and just hammered him. He flew like 3 feet onto the ground,
Nice.
and I was like, "Yep." And then the whole rest of the night, he would like be running around doing a circle pit. He'd see me on the edge. He would like loop around, and I'm like, "Man, like if you're gonna try and dish out these big hits like that, you got to be able to take the big hits too. Like because
No doubt. Like
there's
don't be
always
a
someone bigger, you know."
There is always somebody bigger, tougher, whatever. And what you said about yourself, that's what I'd normally find about, and that's why I clarified about big dudes. Most of
Yeah.
the big dudes I've known in my life are like big teddy bears. Like they know they're that size, so they don't have to act tough. You know?
No. Yeah.
And I have this friend of mine, he's a photographer, he's at all the festivals, and he is a huge dude. And we have this dynamic, like it's kind of funny, like we were just at incarceration. It's like I'm going, get the fuck away from me, motherfucker. And he's saying shit to me and stuff. But I have full confidence that no matter what I would do, he wouldn't do shit to me, and he could probably knock me to next Tuesday. Okay. But
yeah.
but he wouldn't, because, it's just, that's a good human being, and that's respect, and that's the way I look at it.
Well, and like that's the way it should be. Everybody at the show should be respecting everybody else. Everybody who's there paid to be there, right? And as somebody who has worked shows and seen crowds and how people interact, it's like, people think they just can get free rides a lot of times. Like people vaping inside, it's like, the guy beside you could have asked. You don't know that. You're not supposed to be doing it. Why are you doing it? Respect the other people who paid. You paid too. So why do you want to risk getting kicked out if you also paid? Like, what's the point of that?
That's childish.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? Go to the smoking area or walk outside.
Exactly.
Or something like that. I'm with you 100%. Like, we're adults. Act like it. And that, because what always happens when you have childish stuff like that is they change the rules and make it worse on everybody. I see it in press too. It's like you got these idiots sometimes that do things they're not supposed to do, and it ruins it for the rest of us. Like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, it blows my mind, some of the things people try to get away with in their press. It's like, you're working. Like, I don't get it. Do your job, make it to where the artists want to come to the press tent, because that shit makes them not want to come to the press tent.
Yeah.
So what else you got going on the rest of the year here?
Going into September, we have a fair few shows that we got booked up in a few different provinces in Canada here. And then we're kind of just looking towards starting to record an album.
Nice.
We have still a lot of songs that we haven't recorded yet. A lot of these ones are a lot more true to where we're at musically and just versed in how our songwriting has become. And some of them we're actually already playing live because they were such good tracks. We're we can't just keep holding on to these because people need to hear them. And the one track that we have planned to get recorded, it's called Clubbed. Every time we play that song, we have everybody coming up to us after, where can I hear this song? Where is this? And it sucks not having it recorded yet, but it's also very reassuring that we have a song that people hear the name of it when we announce it, and then they come up to us after and are like, I need to hear this song some more. So we're very excited to be working on some of this new stuff that we got working.
That's pretty cool. I love it. And is there anything else you want the listeners to know about you guys, and tell them how to connect you on socials, check out your music, your merch, and all that?
Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Pythonic Band. Same thing with Bandcamp. Bandcamp has some of our merch on there. We've been kind of withholding a little bit right now as we're still like finishing up some shows for the year. But as soon as we're done those, we'll definitely have updated Laws of Karma merch up on there. Just, be a good person at shows and stay metal.
Stay metal with Pythonic. Well, thanks a lot, brother. You guys got some badass music. Everybody has to check you guys out that hasn't already. And thanks a lot for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.